church. I coming to share my testimony about not having my walking anymore, and I have my cane. My daughter takes good care of me. I home. Rachael, my baby, takes time out for me. I'd like to thank Bishop and Pastor for being by my side through thick and thin. They was there for me on the hospitals, and rehab, and when I had seizures in January. They came to the hospital at ER and prayed for me and sat with me through. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to say we serve a good God. God. I serve nothing but God. And it feels good to walk by myself. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you, God. Becky, I thank you for helping me on the beginning. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you too. Love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Morning. Oh my goodness, God is so good. So I would be wrong to not just share his goodness. So for those of you that know, I've been taking care of my mom full time, and the Lord let me know that he had opened the door for me to go back to work. So with that being said, it was a process because the Lord let me know that where he sends me, I'm going to be there for a few years. So I didn't want to just go after anything or, let me just grab this, make some quick cash, because I know that he's Jehovah Jireh, the God that provides. So he still supplied all of my needs and then some, even without me working. So I give God all the glory and praise for that. So when he did open the door for me to go back to work, I sat down and I went to prayer. She's so cute. I went into prayer and I was just asking the Holy Spirit to just guide me. I just wanted to be led by the Spirit. I didn't want my intellect to get in the way and, let me do this and figure out what I qualify for. No, I want what my Father thinks I qualify for. So he led me to this one post, and I actually went over it, and then he brought me back to it. And it was posted that day. So I went ahead and applied for the position. And I was like, well, okay. And I applied for maybe 9 other places or whatever. And I closed off my laptop. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm done. And then he drops in my spirit. He said, open your laptop, daughter. Open your laptop. So I opened it, and I have an email from the one that I applied to. And I was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. Got a phone interview. So I reached back out to them, and I called. Phone interview went well, so well that I got to go in for an in-person interview. So got there, the woman that would technically be my supervisor, her and I, we just connected so well, so well. And then she brought in someone from HR to speak to me, and come to find out, her and I both had similar stories, and God just works because I have no clue how this came up. But she told me that her mother had to go through brain surgery and, was down and out. And, they told her the same thing they told me about my mother. And now her mother's doing really well as well. And I was like, wow, look at God. And so I went through a waiting process. Went in and I was just like, okay, Lord, this is it. And they were like, well, we have a few more people to interview. So we'll get back to you, if we're interested. And that's when your faith really has to kick in, because I was like, Lord, he had given me the desire for that place. I really, really wanted to work there. And I was just like, okay, Lord, I'm just going to wait on you. And then, you get a little nervous. You let the enemy get in your head a little bit. And I was like, oh, Lord, I haven't heard anything yet. And he told me, he said, daughter, and I shared this with Henry, he said, it doesn't matter. They can interview 100 candidates. If it's my will for you to be there, you're going to be there. And so I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to stick to that. But the enemy, you have to remember, he's persistent. He's not going to stop. He's going to keep coming at you. And so then I got all of these different opportunities. I got one to go over to China and teach English, all expenses covered, plus an allowance, everything. Just everything would have been covered and paid for me to go teach English. And then I got another position to go move to Santa Barbara, would have covered my relocation expenses, everything. I got offered a ton of money to work for this medical marijuana company that was new and starting up. I got offered so many things to the point where it got confusing because I was like, wow, these are so many like really cool opportunities. And a lot of them I didn't even apply for. So I was like, wow, God. And this is how deceitful the enemy can be, because you're thinking, oh, this must be of God. These doors are just flinging open, and I didn't even do anything for it, right? But this is why we have to seek him first, because I was like, Lord, this is confusing. Like, I don't know what to do. There's so many opportunities. And he said, I already opened the door for you to walk through. Why are you paying attention to all these other doors? Those aren't of me. And I was just like, okay. And so then I got the call back to come in for the final interview. Went really well. I enjoyed it. And she was like, okay, I'll reach out to you. I sent a thank you. I always send thank yous afterwards. And by the way, always send thank yous. I sent a thank you afterwards for the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And she said, great. She's like, no, we really enjoyed you. And we'll let you know whether we want to extend the opportunity to you by Friday. That was this past Friday. So the enemy was still trying to attack my mind a little bit. But the Lord said, no, daughter, he said, the job is yours. The job is yours. I told you it was yours. And so I said, okay, Lord, I'm just leaving it in your hands and just keep moving. So we had Women of Faith Thursday evening, just talking about the Lord and, ways the enemy will try to distract you from God's will and things like that. It was really, really great meeting. And, of course, during that time, I put my phone away. I'm not focused on anything else. Afterwards, I checked my phone, and I didn't have her number saved in my phone. It said maybe Nori McQuarrie, which would technically be my new boss. And I listened to the voicemail, and she said, Rachael, I know you're probably having dinner right now, so you can call me tomorrow morning, but I just wanted to give you the great news that we've extended the offer letter to you. But then God was even more awesome. So when I did the phone interview, before then, he placed in my heart what to ask for. And so that's what I asked for. And I said, okay, more than enough, because one of the things that was spoken over me was not to compromise. I would settle a lot. And so I said, okay, I'm going to stick to that. She said, oh, yeah, we could do that. When I got the offer letter, it was 3 times more than what I asked for. Yes. And I'm doing less than what I've done. So I'm like, only God can do that. Only God can do that. So I just wanted to share his goodness. Lord gave me a word about that today to share with everyone. Those that were in Sunday school got to hear it. But I don't want to paraphrase his word. Paraphrase his word. Let me just read it really quickly. And it's just all in alignment because, again, it's just so important to seek God's will. So he said, my daughter, I am pleased with my children who met me at the altar this morning. They will be blessed and receive favor from me for their obedience. My daughter, tell my children to keep their eyes upon me. The enemy is going to find many ways to deceive my children that a lie will appear to be the truth. Not all things are of me. Seek me first in all things, and I will never fail you. And that is so true because God has not failed me. I went through a test, and I can say, by the grace of God, I passed. So just keep the faith. Focus on God's goodness no matter what you're going through. Count your blessings. Know that He has you in the palm of His hand. Know that He's in control. And God bless you all.